The ridge that was sitting back here on the GFS, the block gets destroyed. We're out to 216 now. Block gets destroyed. It's out to the east, but it's not completely gone, which is what was happening at 12Z. It was just completely leveling it. There was no block whatsoever. So this piece comes up, tries to form a block. Let me do that again. This piece comes up here, tries to form a block up here. A piece of this you can see is retrograding, and the two look like they want to connect over the top and form a new block over Greenland, which is what the GFS was showing a couple days ago, right? Not so strong with the piece of the south, the ridge here, but it was definitely showing the piece retrograding back from the main block sitting in here. So, okay, so we move on through to 264, and we can see it. So here's the big storm up here. It is slower than previous runs had been, and I like that solution. I think that a slower solution is definitely makes sense with this system. Here we can see the ridge up here, and here's the block retrograding back. All well and good. If we could get rid of this stupid thing, it would be an even nicer looking solution, and this would be much further south. So again, this is the setup we've been seeing for the storm around the first of the month. I'm going to say now I think it's going to be later in the month because of the way this pattern's evolving, and not I'm sorry, earlier in April rather than later in March. So March 31st, I was saying March 29th, hey, March 31st, I'm thinking March 31st to April 1st, April 2nd time frame. Now, we'll see. We're going to get to what the Euro's looking like on that in a second. But, can't speak. Shoot, I forgot to throw in the clipper on the Euro. See, this is what happens when you try to do this early in the morning. You get distracted and you forget to do things. Let me go ahead and do that while I'm explaining myself. I'm sorry, I probably sound like a mess right now, but so right. Yeah. Um, I really apologize, folks. Okay. So, yeah, I lost my train of thought. Um, hey, it happens. Alright. Right, so we were talking about this ridge. I think that, oh, okay. I think that this storm still has the potential to be the bigger one than the one that we're going to see early next week. And I think that if anything, we are going to see next week's storm stay suppressed. Why? Because of that east base negative NAO, rather, and the fact that we have such a strong low in southeast Canada moves the confluent zone further south, and you can end up with a more suppressed solution. Now, am I saying that the Euro is wrong? No. Am I saying that we still couldn't get a big a storm, a Sex or a Mex or whatever? No. But I'm not as confident. Well, I'm not really. Okay. I would be less surprised to see that storm uh, be suppressed than I would to see it go to the northwest. And I'd be less surprised to see this storm that we're looking at right now, the GFS, come further south than I would be to see this storm be suppressed. In other words, I think that this storm here is the most possibility for change. That's probably the easiest way to put it. Okay, I'll shut up now and on to the Euro. Here's the 84-hour Euro sitting in here. Very weak low with the Clipper. Folks, this Clipper's not going to amount to much. Let's just get over it now. Euro continues with its south solution, though, so, I mean, we'll have to see. I'm not too heavily focused on that, but whew, beautiful high sitting up here, 1052. Me like. Okay, here's what you all want to see. I'm sure you've heard about it. Yeah. Remember where we had that stupid low? Okay, yeah, it keeps the system further back. Common GFS error, folks, trying to jump things out front too quickly. It's just, ugh. We saw it happen with this current storm, but whatever. So here's the beautiful high in here. little piece extending over. You know, it's not the best position, but it's certainly one of the best that we've seen all year. Here we can see the piece of the block extending back, and here's our big storm along the coast, and this would be a blizzard from DC, Philly, New York, Boston, Caribou. You know, this would be an I-95 blizzard. Plain and simple. Maybe even frickin' Richmond can get in on the action down here. I don't know, though. Too early to be forecasting amounts, but needless to say, this would be the I-95 blizzard we've all been looking for, and all the snow weenies will shut the hell up. Including me. Okay. So let's go out to 240 real quick. I want to show you the second storm. Here it comes around the backside, slower like the GFS. And I'm going to bring up precip real quick because I feel like it. If I remembered how to do that. You can see this piece is diving down. Here comes the low, which is going to direct pretty much east if you were to extrapolate this thing. And that's not an overall bad looking setup. There is a block that's sitting way up here. You just can't see it on this map, but it's in a pretty good position. And it's in pretty good agreement with the GFS that a piece of this is going to be retrograding. It doesn't agree about that piece of the ridge coming back, but, you know, typical model nonsense in this time frame. And beautiful 1038 high, dipping down. Well, you see what I'm going to. Anyway, the reason why, you know, this doesn't look great, but when you see the precip charts, you're going to say, okay, that looks nicer. At the very least, according to the latest Euro, we have a decent overrunning event going on in here. Because look at this, we got this in here. The zero line's displaced a little far to the north, but you know what happens. Again, not a strong dynamical system, so we can't get the cold air in there. Once we wrap up the dynamics a little bit more, we'll be able to get a colder looking solution. But yeah, that is definitely. Here comes like the little first piece of energy out, and here comes the main thing behind. So, yeah. We'll see. This is definitely more of a classic-looking Miller A-type feature than our upcoming storm. It's a Miller B, and historically Miller Bs don't tend to be the worst of the snowstorms if you compare Miller A to B. But we'll see what happens. We're gonna go ahead and I fully expect the trends to continue. As we get on into the 12Z GFS and so forth today, and unless we see another major fluky run like yesterday where I'm like, huh, that doesn't make sense. And by the way, just so you're aware, if we went from seeing absolutely no storm to seeing a storm with a weird H5 pattern, I consider that a fluke too. A fluke isn't just a favorable solution. A fluke is a solution that makes no sense given the current model trends. It's only a trend when it starts to be established and when it starts to show consistency. Just want you guys to be fully aware of that. So, I've rambled too long. This is my longest video and my least coherent. And so I'll shut up now. You folks have a great morning, and I'll see y'all this afternoon or evening. This is Aaron DeBruin, VinylFreak89 for EasternUSWeather.com. Have a great day. Yeah, have a great day, folks.